Tonight, the NAACP is holding a memorial service for Len and Lacey. Both are charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, and the district attorney says he expects additional charges to be added on. Today, I sat down with Laura and Eric Trump while they were here in Wrightsville Beach. As of last Thursday, the group had already raised about $150,000, but today the school says the tragedy has brought them closer together. Well, it's officially spring, and that means it's officially tourism season. Coming up, find out what the port city will be grilling this holiday weekend. Those that won last night will be continuing their campaigns to the general election on November 8th. The program brings 4 groups of dogs into the prison each year to work with the inmates. Today was all about girls. Skating legend Tony Hawk is doing his part to help skate dreams come true for kids here at Ogden Park. Removal is well underway here at the Sutton Coal Ash Basin. Folks eagerly waiting on the beach, watching the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office patrolling the ocean, looking for the shark or sharks responsible. Hundreds gathered today here at the state capitol in Raleigh to show their support of the controversial House Bill 2.
This is not a matter of discriminating against gays or transsexuals. This is about protecting innocent women, children from sexual predators.
Religious leaders, community leaders, and citizens gathered by the hundreds in front of the Capitol building in Raleigh Monday afternoon to show support of Governor Pat McCrory and House Bill 2.
And we support him, and not to back down, not to let people bully him. We've been bullied long enough as Christians.
Some at today's rally say Charlotte's attempt to pass a bathroom bill was unnecessary and made House Bill 2 necessary.
Transgendered individuals have been using the restroom facilities of their preferred gender for decades and decades, and it's never hurt anybody, and nobody's ever said anything. Then they come out with this crazy law that it's just an invitation to sexual predators to take advantage of the situation.
Several of the speakers today say this bill protects everyone, including members of the LGBT community. But a counter-protest across the street says that is just not true.
I don't believe that for a second. It's pretty much just trying to sugarcoat the bill.
Opponents say this bill is highly discriminatory, and not only against members of the LGBT community, but other minority groups, including women and veterans. In Raleigh, Taylor Yakowenko, WWAY News Channel 3. Sergeant Albert E. Higley of the 22nd New York Volunteers and the 16th New York Heavy Artillery left his home to fight for the Union cause in the Civil War.
Albert enlisted in the Union Army in May of 1861, 1 month after the firing on Fort Sumter, and essentially he served throughout the course of the war.
He never returned.
He was here in Wilmington in March of 1865 and was working in a hospital in one of the local churches when he contracted typhoid fever and died on March 31st, 1865, just a couple weeks before the end of the war.
But today, Higley's family was able to honor him for the first time in 150 years, thanking him for his service and celebrating his life.
It's funny to have lived most of my life kind of knowing this person that you could never get to know face to face.
His family was able to connect with him across the decades through his diaries. And they shared those memoirs with Civil War reenactors from the state of New York.
You know, seeing how they lived and seeing how, their uniforms and accoutrements and the hardships that they went to, it brings it out of just reading a history book.
Higley's journal entries and letters not only touched his family, but others as well.
He's a fellow veteran and he fought for the Union. He's a New Yorker just as much as I'm a New Yorker. I fought in Afghanistan with the New York Army National Guard, and being here, supporting and honoring a federal soldier who is buried deep in, at the time when he passed was enemy territory.
And now finally, Higley received the honors he went without for over a century.
Today marks 3 weeks since 30-year-old Ebony Spears went missing here in Wilmington.
The mother last spoke with her daughter on January 15th, but the search is still ongoing, and WWAY's Taylor Yakowenko joins us now with more from the Q Center for Missing People. It is the big story at 5. Taylor.
Mackenzie, Ebony Spears was last seen at the Point at Taylor Estates last month. There is now a $3,000 reward offered for anyone who knows the whereabouts of the Wilmington mom, but that ends on Tuesday. Monica Kaysen, the founder of the center, says she hopes the reward will encourage someone to come forward with information about Spears. She says the most important thing right now is getting the word out to as many people as possible, because you never know who may have seen or heard something that might help find Spears. And there are a lot of missing pieces still in this case.
With any missing person, it just basically, sometimes there just is no information, and that information has to be built, and that obviously takes longer, and that's pretty much where, you know, Ebony's case is so far, you know, there really hasn't been anybody that really saw anything or that saw her, you know, hours before her disappearance.
Kaysen says if you have any information, you can remain anonymous both through text a tip with Wilmington Police and on the Q Center website. And Kaysen says even though they haven't found her, they are not considering the search to be unsuccessful. She says when they walked out of the woods last week, the first thing that someone said was, well, we know where she's not.